I don't know if Grandma Ursula is a serial killer, but I do think that she is a lazy freeloading bitch.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and welcome to the very first in 2 years non-gamer girl review. Why do I call them non-gamer girl reviews? Because I'm not a gamer. The extent of my game playing is the fact that I re-downloaded June's Journey because I've been listening to too many podcasts, and I was like, oh, that's right. I should play that again. The non-gamer girl review series was 2 videos I made in 2020. One of Raid Shadow Legends, the most ambitious RPG game. I did a review of the game itself. I played it for like a month. And then I did a review talking about all the advertisements and all of that. And then I did a review of a online escape room that had reached out to me. And now I'm reviewing Merge Mansion, the mobile game that has the most... God, what is even the word? Teasing advertisements? Confusing advertisements? Very little to have to do with the game advertisements. I've been seeing these ads on TikTok, but also in playing June's Journey and a bunch of other mobile games. A lot of them, to get rewards or new updates or whatever, if you don't want to pay for it, you have to watch an ad within the game. And that's one of the ways that these apps make money without you actually doing in-app payments. That's how I heard a lot about Merge Mansion, was all these advertisements between Maddie, who is the character you're playing as, and Grandma Ursula, who is Maddie's grandmother. The reason I decided now to make this video and play this game is because I was recently reminded of the Kathy Bates live action Merge Mansion advertisements on YouTube. So I was like, you know what? Let's actually download this app. Let's play the game. Let's see what it's at. Because a lot of these mobile game ads have been under fire because a lot of the gameplay that's advertised is actually not in the games, or like it's so far in that you'd have to pay to get to that level or whatever, and it's a pay to play type of game. So I figured, you know what? I'll download Merge Mansion and I'll see where we're at. And I will have to say, the ads are a little all over the place. There's multiple versions. Game Theory did 2 whole videos on this. Game Theory, The Disturbing Lore of Merge Mansion, and Game Theory, The Disturbing Lore of Merge Mansion Just Got Darker. Basically, the lore surrounding saying lore for this app sounds so dumb. The plot of the ads of the Merge Mansion is that Maddie, our main character, is stood up at the altar. Okay, she's about to get married. And then she goes home. Her house has been burned down. And so she goes to stay with her grandmother. And her grandmother gifts her a mansion that's in complete disrepair and is like, look, you can have this mansion. All you got to do is fix it up. And then as she's going forward, the advertisements get weirder. There is a house inspector that's like sweet on Maddie. And then apparently they do it in the bushes, a rose bush specifically. That sounds awful. Is he secretly Jigsaw? What the fuck is this? You know, like, why would you do that? But then he also slept with Grandma, I think. But then also Grandma gets arrested and she apologizes to Maddie, but then she is not arrested. She leaves a note that's like, he's alive. She escapes jail, either from working with a cop or the cop who may also be the home inspector, according to Game Theory. These are all just the CGI ads, the advertised ads. And there's a variety of them. There's also some that are more in the game style of itself. Let me tell you a bit about the game itself before I talk about the cinematic masterpieces that are the 31-second advertisements starring Kathy Bates. None of that I can really see is in this at all. If anything, these could be treated as cutscenes, but they don't even really fit there, okay? Maddie is spending time with her grandma, and there's just kind of always been like a hidden locked gate on Grandma's property that Maddie's never been allowed to ask about or go near. Grandma gifts her a key to open the gate, and that is when we see that there is a mansion that's just been back there Maddie's whole life that Grandma's hidden from her. Okay, she's like, why didn't you tell me the truth about this? And Grandma will not answer questions. She just kind of gives little tidbits, and Maddie is frustrated because she's doing all this work. She's cleaning up the house. She's getting things nice and learning little family secrets that she's just never really been privy to. And when she asks more questions, Grandma has to go deal with pie. Have you ever learned like a family secret? Whether you were a kid or you're an adult, like you learn something that like everyone in the family just treated as like fact, but like kept from you. I had 2 separate aunts, both sides of my parents, families that I never got to know about until I was like and a teenager. I was just like, what? But you had a whole sister and I didn't get to know? What the fuck is this? And of course there's reasons for things, but there's things that you just get pissed off about. Why did you hide this from me? Like a whole person. And I know this isn't a person, but like this is like her whole family history and a whole mansion, a whole family fortune on her grandmother's property that was just treated like a secret garden beyond the gate. I'd be pissed. So basically the reason it's called Merge Mansion is because you play little games where you merge things. Oh, my chest is ready. Sorry. See, this is why I'm still playing this game. I will say, the game, I'm attached to it, but it's annoying, okay? We'll talk more as this, as it's drawing my attention from literally talking to you guys. You have to merge items to get other items to match up with your to-do list to complete tasks around the refurbishment, the renovations of the mansion. Start with the walkway, start with clearing up the entryway, the garden itself. So like right here, chop tree, I need gloves and a saw, okay? Clean up trunk. I need a sponge and soap, dust off cobwebs, plant flowers. I need 3 certain types of flowers. And then a whole new area unlocks at level 14. I'm currently at level 13. Because I hit level 12, there is currently a spring event that's happening. I have 11 days to complete it. And for that, I need to get a lollipop, candy lolly, and cherries. Sometimes you just complete a scene and you get stars and then you move forward. Other times you get little cut scenes. For example, there was one where I uncovered the statue that's in the front entryway. And I learned about, I wish there was a way for me to go back and tap it. But the statue is of Ignatius Bolton. And we learned that he made his family from inventing the tin can. And that's how he built his fortune, which is how he built the mansion. And that this is actually grandma's grandfather. So it's her great-great-great-grandfather. That's 3 greats, right? Yeah. I'm not even in the mansion yet. You know, I'm in the garage. Like, that's as close as I've gotten so far, this far in. You build items, you make items. Some of the items can make other items, and they're like, whatever. I went on the Merge Mansion wiki, and I found that apparently even some of the, like, items that you get to make things have stories to them, which I did think was cool. For like the statue right now, the statue's not going to be complete until I finish the tin can, and I give it like a golden tin can. But it starts with like, you get his first tin can, earned enough to make another, his second tin can, earned him his first $1. Bolton's cans, LTD was born, so it's like a tray of cans, and then earned a priceless sum, stack of cash. There's other items like love story, which is like, I'm assuming one of her family's like histories that we just haven't learned yet. We're currently in the garage. There's a car that was exposed, and we learned about her cousin or her aunt who had a gambling addiction and like tripled the family's wealth and then lost it all a few years later. And Maddie is trying to like understand. She's like, wow, was she like a wild child? Did she disgrace the family? No, she like was really good at gambling. The thing that I don't like about the game is that it's kind of a waiting game. A lot of it's a waiting game. Obviously, like most games, they give you a stack of the jewels right up the front. The jewels are like your diamonds, your dollars. It's how you speed things up. It's how you can unlock things that get locked when you need them. But a lot of it is a waiting game. You don't need it necessarily. You could feasibly play this game without spending money. And I want to make that very clear. I don't think this is a pay-to-play game. Sometimes it felt that way. Obviously, for me, it felt that way because I was trying to get as far as I could in a week to make this video. So obviously, waiting got annoying. So I bought a few of the gems so that I could unlock things, keep playing and all of that. Otherwise, I would be waiting for an hour or two for things to unlock. No one judge me for still playing this game as I'm talking to you. It's, like I said, I don't dislike it. The merge can get a little annoying, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it makes you have to think about things because it doesn't. It's not like a puzzle game. It's like a matchup game. That's really it. You match it up to merge it to make other things, so you have to match up with other things. That's what you're doing. It's a matchup game. I mean, a lot of it is kind of waiting because at a certain time, you only get so many clicks before it's like, okay, now you got to wait. And then obviously you only get, I think you get 100 life points, but you can have more if you earn more, but like there's only 100 in like the time frame. And so every time you tap it to produce a new item, the production items, then you use 1 life. And so eventually when you're building things, you run out of life. So you got to kind of wait again. So a lot of it's waiting. But I think most games are like that. But it's not like, is it ideal? No. Is it one of those games that I would be comfortable to like hand my child to play so that they can just keep tapping? No, because I feel like at a certain point they'd be annoyed, keep using jewels, and then run out of gems. I feel like at a certain point, if I handed this to a child, they'd play it long enough, they'd get annoyed that they couldn't play, would click the gems button, because they make it really easy. If I run out of lives, I overtap. The first thing it says is 100 points, 100 life points. 5 gems. 5 gems turns to 40, turns to 80, turns to like 340. And so like the more times you refill your life, the more gems you use. And so eventually you run out of gems. And so I feel like they'd make it, I know they're trying to make it harder for kids to like accidentally buy stuff, but like, I don't know. I think kids still figure it out because, we're turning our kids into AIs. That's basically what's happening because they're basically just becoming symbiotic with machines at this rate. iPad babies. Eventually the baby just becomes the iPad, I hate that I'm still playing this game as I'm talking to you guys. Can't stop though. It's annoying. As far as I can tell right now, there's no way for me to make the board bigger. I can add more inventory spots and add those up and complete more items. When I was originally searching up this game for making the video, I found obviously the Merge Mansion wiki, but there was nothing. Okay, so while playing the game, as far as I can get, obviously there is inclinations of, I think Rodney or Rhodey, whatever the inspector's name is. He's there. He shows up almost immediately after you clean up opening the gate. And he's like, hey, this house is going to be condemned. I can put it as in progress if you get to work. And like, basically Maddie is to like speed run cleaning the stuff up. He's there. There's kind of an inclination that he's like trying to flirt with Maddie, but she's just like not having it. He also popped up in the spring event at one point and like made a little comment about flirting with someone, and she's just like, no. I guess that's kind of an inclination that like the boning and the somewhat of a lead up to potentially screwing in a rose bush. But I mean, I think that's a lot of steps that it takes. Like this is just a slow burn. We're getting a slow burn romance of the year, okay, in Merge Mansion. Other than that, and then also like Granny's like obvious secrecy and having to run off and make pies. Like a lot of her excuses are like, oh no, a pie is burning. I have to go finish making pies. Like a lot of it's pie related. What I see in the advertisements, there's not a lot of that in the gameplay itself, or at least in the little bits of story that we get from the gameplay. And I mean, it would make sense if there was a little bit of carryover, like even in the loading screen, Granny is holding like the keys behind her back. She looks a little like she's got a little secret that she's not going to tell anyone because it's a secret. Like that's what it looks like. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of like what is in the advertisements. While doing research, I was looking at the Wikipedia because there was something about a murder. And I was like, I read that wrong. So I opened up the Wikipedia, and under gameplay for Merge Mansion, it says, Merge Mansion is a puzzle game where the player completes tasks as the character Maddie, whose grandmother owns the mansion. At first, these are themed around home improvement, housekeeping, and taking care of Maddie's grandmother. In later levels, the player is tasked with covering up Maddie's murder of her grandmother. And then it says citation needed. Yeah, I bet you do. My God, I don't think that's there. That would take such a turn from the advertisements. Such a turn. The Wikipedia article also mentions the advertisements. The campaigns haven't gone without criticism, however. Many have noted the similarities between the mobile game Lily's Gardens ad and Merge Mansions. On top of this, it has been criticized that the gameplay isn't true to the ads, and then they cited having gameplay comparable to Candy Crush. However, the game has been commended for having a similar storyline to the ads rather than no connection whatsoever. Is it similar? I mean, I guess, but I mean, it's like, even in the live action game ad, they talk about like Granny's has a pie company when that's nowhere near in the game. And again, the family fortune was made through tin cans and other various items. I mean, sure, the characters are the same. Like, that's really it. Bates described the filming experience as so much fun. Danny Gonzalez also made Merge Mansion videos. Wanted to shout him out as well. There's 4 live action Merge Mansion videos that are starring Kathy Bates. And the reason I really wanted to focus on these is because we are treating these like a movie. That's what we're treating them as. But also, Matt Pat, in his breakdown for The Game Theorist, ignore important details that I think are important, specifically the dialogue. And also he seemed to completely ignore something about these "You're Not My Grandma" ads, which we'll talk about in a second. The first ad is called Giving Grandma a Hand, and it follows Maddie walking up to Grandma, who already is being suspicious because she's doing actual work, which is not at all what happens in the game. She is raking up leaves or something, and she's like, "Oh yes, there's another rake in the garage." Maddie goes in and just sees knives. She goes back over to Grandma, is like, "There was just so many knives." And Grandma just goes, "And so little time," and gets back to raking. And you see that the leaves that she is raking are covering a pile of more knives. And they're all the same knife. So that's one ad. Then there's Grandma Getaway. This is my favorite line of all time. So it starts with Maddie walking in and Grandma's burning a document. What's the document? We don't know. My guess is it's a letter of some sort, or like a document proving that like maybe she doesn't actually own the mansion. Maybe it's just stolen. Maybe they're squatting. Maybe this is the real owner claiming it and Grandma's burning it. I don't know, but she's burning a document. She runs from Maddie and starts opening up all these secret passages. This is my dream. Okay, I'm going to have a mansion. I want a manor. Not really a mansion, a manor. Not these like sterile white LA monstrosities that are all over the hills right now. I want a manor, okay, with like tchotchkes and crap and things from adventures. Like that's what I want in my house, okay? And there's all these different passageways, including like she's giving statues wet willies. She's twisting their nipples. She has to like blow a raspberry on one of their bellies because it's like a little cherub. And then all these different things are opening. And Maddie is just like following, but also not following. Like Grandma might as well be Michael Myers with the weird pace that she is scurrying at because Maddie can't catch up. It's very weird. It ends with Maddie outside looking for Grandma, and Grandma's scurrying across the roof in the background. But this one has my favorite line of all time because she's like, "Grandma, stop." And she's like, "No." And she just keeps scurrying through different passageways. It's so good. And of course, it's Kathy Bates. So she takes these little lines and she just gives it her all. I believe her. I believe she's hiding something. I believe she wears dresses with flared sleeves for fun, for fashion. I don't know. I believe her. Okay, You're Not My Grandma. This is where I have a problem with the game theorists breakdown because they ignore something important in the final clip of this advertisement. Maddie is trying to spend time with her grandma. Lunch is ready, but then she keeps getting met with knitted versions of her grandmother. And then she's bearing something in the backyard while holding a bucket. So Maddie goes down to see her grandma and is once again, there's another knitted grandma holding a rake, holding a shovel, sorry. Grandma is in the window. What's Grandma's hiding fills the screen, okay? And Grandma is in the window that Maddie was just in. But she's not doing nothing. She's not just watching. No, she's knitting. What is she knitting? Something yellow. Grandma has no yellow in her character design, none. Not even a little bit, not a shred of yellow to be found. You know who does have yellow? Maddie. Maddie is constantly wearing a yellow shirt in different forms, but always yellow. Is that what Grandma's hiding? Is her plot to murder Maddie? Maybe the burned item is like the change of her will? A life insurance policy taken out on Maddie? Is that the real story of Merge Mansion? Is that Grandma is using Maddie for free labor and then she's just gonna kill her? That would be a better story. And then we have this weird dinner party. The setup of the mansion inside these live action videos is very funny because it is kind of reminiscent of the gameplay because a lot of stuff is like together. The power is on. Things are clear. They can function and have a dinner party. They can do stuff. But then if you look in the background, there's like cobwebs on a bunch of stuff. Like it's like, okay, but you still have work to do. Maddie still needs to be better at a job and should just probably sack up and hire some people to help. Maybe if Maddie would stop being a nosy Nelly and would just let Grandma be and do her grandma things with her crime spree, maybe the mansion would be finished already and she'd be dead. I don't know. She walks into this dinner party and she shows Ursula's pie. We see that Ursula has been selling pies or making pies. Again, we know she's making pies, but I don't think we knew that she was selling pies. But she shows the pies and everyone's like, "Oh my God, she's selling pies. What's that?" She opens it and that's what makes everyone scream in terror and fear. What's in the pies? And then she turns and Grandma's walking in and she's wearing an apron that looks bloody. Could it be cherries? I don't know, but she rips off the apron because everyone points at her like, "You did it. You killed someone." I'm assuming these people at this dinner party are like toddlers because if they can't see the blood, it doesn't exist. Obviously, there's more advertisements on the website from here, like moments from the mansion, a pie in the night, wanted Grandma Ursula with Grandma on the run / being in jail and then breaking out of jail with a file that she baked into a pie that she then had Maddie bring her, which she's basically forcing Maddie to be an accomplice without realizing it. Maddie's going to go to jail or she's going to be dead because Grandma Ursula is going to kill her after she finishes like renovating the mansion. See, the thing about Merge Mansion, I was going to originally say that they didn't do any influencer campaigns, but then I found out from the Game Theorist video that they did, because they did a bunch of like, they paid a bunch of smaller creators to do like, Grandma is innocent. She did not commit these murders. And like open up an envelope with like wads of cash, like as a prop, like, oh, don't ask about that. Like Grandma's paying people off with the family fortune to hide the fact that she's a serial killer that collects knives like she's Jared Leto's Joker. And they're just like accent decor pieces because she's crazy. I can't wait for the spin-off game called Maddie's Murder. Merge Maddie's Murder. Merge Murder. Merge Murder. I'm having a stroke. All in all, the game itself is fine. It's distractingly addicting. It's one of those things. It's a lot of waiting. It just is. But I feel like that's the case with a lot of these games right now, where they try and get you to buy more gems / tools so you can keep playing. And that's kind of how they get you without having to be pay per play. So it's a lot of waiting. Like I said, I've been buying gems so that I could try and get as far as I could. And I've still only gotten to level 13 in a week. Is this better than Raid Shadow Legends? Yes, but that's not hard. Raid Shadow Legends was pay to play. There was very little that you had to do. I will say this game does not give me a ton of pop-ups trying to get me to buy stuff. They do have it in the shop where it's like at the top where you can like, oh, buy this to get this and all that. But it's not like with Raid Shadow Legends where it was like constant pop-ups constantly. The game is fine. The ads are insane. They got Kathy motherfucking Bates on their live action advertisements. I kind of want more. I think I want a full Merge Mansion movie, but I want it closer to the game. Maybe Rodney is actually the accomplice that helped Grandma get out of jail. Maybe he's secretly a cop. Maybe he's secretly an undercover cop and he's just investigating Maddie for the murder of Maddie's husband, because that was one of the theories, is that Maddie's fiance is dead and that Grandma killed him when she set the house on fire for arson. What am I doing? Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. Have you played Merge Mansion? Have you seen the advertisements? What's the craziest mobile game advertisement that you've seen advertised to you within another game or on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Entertainment Podcast. New episodes every Wednesday. Reminder, I have merch like that mug back there. That's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. Maddie's Merged Murder. Merged her. Maddie's Merged Murder. Doesn't sound as good. Murder. Thank you, Audrey, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Crash PC, China, Devin, Durdo and Dawn, Elliot, Evan, Feckless, Hopeless, Incognito, Jekka Ray, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kim, Kristen Lamb, Lex, Lisa, Luis, Matt, Matt O, Matthew S, Lord, Michael, Michael J, Micah, Nathan, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Richard, Rob, Red, Robert, Ross, Sam, Serena, Skylar, Simon, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Wendy, William, Winter, Zenry's Wink.